in my mind is a warning. Pray to the one you're relying.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my question, Tyson, is if someone has good intentions, but the actions like fall through, and it's not just a one-time thing, can you keep relying on, oh, but I had the good intentions, my intentions were good, it just, the actions didn't follow through? The actions matter just as much as the intentions, or do they not?
I think they do. And I think the crazy part about actions versus intentions is that we try to separate them when really they go hand in hand. Because it doesn't matter if I intend to be a good partner. It doesn't matter if I intend to, love you. It doesn't matter if I intend to be good to you. If my actions don't align with my intentions, then I failed. Because your perception is not only going to be based on my intentions. Your perception is going to be based on my intentions coupled, married with my actions. And so I think in situations where, you're wondering whether or not you can still depend on the person, I'll tell you a story. There's a story about a man who went to go visit his friend. And when he went to go visit his friend at home, there was a dog on the porch. And when he walked up on the porch, the dog was groaning and moaning, and it was making a strange noise, almost like it was weeping or wailing or whatever it is. And so the man just walked past the dog and he went in the house, and, it was whatever. And while they were in the house talking, the man who came to visit his friend asked me, he said, listen, when I came in, your dog was on the porch making a strange noise. He was crying. He was moaning. What's wrong with him? And his friend told me, he said, well, the dog is laying on a spot where there's a nail coming out of the porch, and it's hurting him. And so the man who came to visit his friend said, well, why, if there's a nail under it, would he continue to lay in that same spot on top of that nail that's literally causing him pain? And the man answered his friend and said, because it hasn't hurt him bad enough yet. And so you got to ask yourself the question, how much are you willing to take before you decide to trust the actions versus the intent? Because when you solely go based on people who continue to let you down, continue to disappoint you, or continue to misunderstand you, you run the risk of totally removing your energy from a situation when all you needed to do was reallocate it. You run the risk of ending loving anyone when all you needed to do was reallocate that love or explain the demands that came along with that love just a little bit better. So I hope that answers your question. I hope that wasn't too much. And it's okay for me to keep going, right? To go into the podcast. Y'all, this is crazy. I'm a little bit nervous. Thank you for that, Gabby. Now, that was not directed to any relationship now. I almost didn't answer. I was getting ready to say, listen, I don't want to answer anything. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Guys, what's up? It's Tyson Brown. I'm so excited to be here. Listen, it's 10:28 at night. I'm not going to hold you. I don't even say that. I don't even talk like that. I'm tired right now. I'm sleepy. But guys, listen, through a flat tire, through some technical difficulties, through all that stuff, we're right here, right now. This is the first episode of Character Over Calling, called Dangerously Gifted. Open your mouth and give. Oh, this is not one of those. I meant clap your hands if you're here, happy to be watching the podcast, whatever. Don't clap your hands. I don't care. No, I do care. Watch this video to the end, though. Guys, we're here. I'm excited. I was getting ready to tell you to open your mouth and give God some praise, but I said this is going to be a secular podcast, but I'm a little nervous, so, y'all just bear with me. I'm not used to doing this. Guys, listen, I'm excited to be here talking to you. I have to tell you, if you're unsure about your calling, if you're unsure about how you fit into the puzzle, if you're unsure about how to manage your gift, you are in the right place at the right time right now, whether you're watching this when it first comes out or you're watching it a month later. I guarantee you right now, you are in the right place. Guys, listen, Dangerously Gifted. When I got this idea to do this series, I didn't know what direction it was going to go in. I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know what guests I was going to have. And, originally it was going to be one episode, but now it's going to be probably about 3 or 4. And so we're going to have some guests. We're going to have all different kind of stuff. It's going to be great. I just want you all to be a part of it. We're going to be releasing our socials really soon. I know I'm slack. I said this was going to be out in March 2023. I don't know if you're viewing this in April or not yet. Pray my strength. Okay. But listen, we're here now. That's all that matters. And guys, today, honestly, because I'm navigating this and I've never done a podcast before, I want y'all to bear with me a little bit, because what I really have is this quote that I want to read y'all. And then we're just going to see where it goes from there. I really don't know. Okay. So guys, I want to read this quote. Hear me out. It may sound crazy, but just stick with me. Okay. Just stick with me. Okay. being gifted comes with highs and lows. You have to be strong enough to push through the lows and still write the vision. Your next stop in destiny is depending on you being present and accounted for. There are people whose destinies, for the time being, are bound up in yours. And the reason I say for the time being is because God won't stop the world from revolving just because you refuse to say yes to what he's requiring. That was pretty good, right? That was a good quote. That was a good quote, right? It was good. Was that okay?
That was good.
I think it was a good quote. I'm going to tell you who came up with that quote. It's inspired by the Holy Spirit, but I came up with that quote. And so, guys, what I want to do tonight is I just want to break that down just a little bit, and we're going to talk about this introduction to Dangerously Gifted. The first thing that I want to say is being gifted comes with highs and lows. Listen, if you have ever had any kind of gift, any kind of talent, you already know before I even tell you that there are just some seasons that come with highs, and there are some seasons that come with lows. Am I right about that? I think, there are some seasons that come with, really, really great moments. And then sometimes those great moments seem to just drop off into really terrible moments. Like, I just had a good day yesterday, and then today, everything is happening, and it seems like it's happening against me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like anything is going in my favor. I remember very clearly I was able to give out a scholarship last year for $1,500 at the high school that I graduated from. And then the next day, it was like I dropped right off from that high moment into a moment of depression. Yikes. But I had to realize that it's completely natural to come out of a high place and end up feeling really low. Do you know how I know? Because when you're high, you feel like you're on the mountaintop. Am I right about it? Yes, sir. You feel like you're at the top. You feel like everything is going fine. You can see the world from there. But what you don't realize is that there are many different mountaintops in life. And sometimes, well, all the time, actually, you've got to leave one mountaintop to get to the next. And so I think what we forget is that in order to get to the next mountaintop, you've got to travel back down into the valley. Sometimes you've got to come out of that high place to get to the low place, to get to the next high place. And so what I've been finding out is that those of us who are gifted sometimes get lost in seasons of transition, right? Because we can't handle the valley that is responsible for getting us to the next mountaintop. You got to understand that the darkness at the valley is not a death sentence. It's a vehicle to get you to the next stop in your destiny. Whoa. Was that okay?
That's a good one.
Is it okay for me to say that?
That's a good one.
I'm telling you, the valley was never purposed to defeat you. It was purposed to give you transportation. The problem is you went down into the valley and you've been fighting against the movement. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. This is not preachy, is it? Because I'm not trying to preach, but I want you to know, literally, being gifted is dangerous. Being gifted is so dangerous. And it's not just because you can misuse your gifts and hurt somebody or yourself, but it's dangerous because if you can't manage that giftedness, it'll take you out. You can feel gifted and still be depressed. You can be gifted and still have no idea what you're doing with your life. And if you don't figure out how to navigate that, if you don't figure out how to navigate the challenges of your giftedness, you'll leave here before your time. I have evidence, but I'll leave it at that. Next part of this quote, whatever. You have to be strong enough to push through the lows and still write the vision. Listen, guys, being gifted, and Cameron, Austin, Chris, Gabby, you all can correct me if I'm wrong. You have to be able to still make things clear, even in the moments where it doesn't seem like anything is coming to fruition the way you wanted it to. I think there are periods of time in trying to build things and trying to build a career and trying to build a business and trying to build a nonprofit and trying to build a ministry, if that's your thing, whatever the case may be, there will be points in time where everything that you've planned seems to be going the exact opposite way. And your responsibility is, even though things are going the exact opposite way, you still have to write the vision and make it plain. And I said this was going to be a secular podcast, but you all understand. You understand. I have to make biblical references because that's just who I am. It's in me. I can't take it out. But you understand. You see what I'm saying? Even in the low moments, you have an obligation to still make it clear what you're trying to do. You have an obligation to continue planning as though all your plans have come to pass. Whoa. Because what defines me is not how I react in the moments that my plans are going well. Am I saying anything? But what defines me is how I react in the moments where my plans have failed, but I know I still have to keep writing. Sheesh. I guess y'all haven't been there before. I have. I'll be transparent. I've been there several times in the past couple of months. There have been times where literally everything that I planned went opposite. My college education, oh God, Jesus. Oh man, if I could sit and talk about that for an hour, I would. It went opposite to what I had planned. I ended up at a school that I never intended to be at. I ended up doing things that I said I would never do. But it's because I had an obligation to keep writing, even when it didn't seem like anything was going to plan. I may sound really crazy right now. If I do, you all forgive me. Feel free to click off. But if I'm making any sense, just stick with me for a second. I promise you I'm almost done. Next time we have the podcast, because I know y'all be tired of listening to me. Listen, we're going to have a guest next time. Somebody a little bit more interested than me, because I know I'm kind of boring. Just pray my strength, okay? Bear with me. Am I doing okay? I'm nervous. Am I okay?
You're doing all right.
I'm doing all right.
Doing all right.
Okay, now if I'm talking crazy, tell me just hush. Just say, just hush.
Talk to
just
us.
Say, okay, just talk. Okay, I got it. So the next part of that quote, I don't know if y'all remember it, but it said, your next stop in destiny is depending on you being present and accounted for. How will things ever work out for you if you never show up? How will it ever work if you don't show up? You got to realize that this plan is centered around you being there. Whatever your space is, whatever your task is, whatever your assignment is, it succeeding depends on you just being there. And it may not always feel good to be there. It may not always feel good to be present. It may not always feel perfect. It may not always feel like something that you want to do. But listen, if you're not there, it doesn't happen. If you're not there, it doesn't happen. And the next part of this quote is so important because this says, there are people whose destinies for the time being are bound up in yours. There's a very profound quote that said one time, my humanity is bound up in yours. The Most Reverend Bishop Desmond Tutu said that. My humanity is bound up in yours, meaning literally there are people that are depending on you right now to succeed. There are people right now who are depending on you to show up. Why? Because they have no reference point. What God has tasked them with, what God has tasked them with is the fact that they have to go forward in doing whatever it is that they have to do, but they need an example. And I know you're probably saying right now, well, who's going to be my example? Listen, I hate to break it to you, but some of you are going to have to be first. Some of you have to be the first one to do it. Sorry. Oh, well. I'm the first in my family to do a whole lot of things, and it's not fair. No, it's not fair. Life isn't fair, but it will reward you for showing up in seasons where it was unpopular to be there. It will reward you for showing up in seasons where it is unpopular to show up. You got to understand that there are people right now who, if they never see you do it, they will never achieve their destiny. And I know you're probably thinking, well, destiny is at the end of life. There's only one stop in destiny. The devil is a liar. You are unpacking destiny right now. Destiny has stops. There are stops in your destiny. And somebody's next stop is dependent upon you fulfilling yours. Yeah, I know it's not fair. I know it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. You're going to be okay. Moving on. And then the last part of this quote says, for the time being, the reason I say for the time being, there are people depending on you is because if you refuse, if you decide that you don't want to do what you're called to do, if you decide that this just isn't for you anymore, if you decide that, listen, I'm going to do it my own way, if you decide those things, that's cool. But don't expect God to wait on you to fulfill that purpose when there are people who need you to do it now and move now when he's saying move in order for them to move on to their next. The world does not revolve around you. So understand what you feel like is happening to you is actually happening for you. And it's okay. But you got to make a move like now. Like it's time. Like make that move. Being gifted is dangerous. in so many different ways. Because if you're not careful, you will mismanage your moment. Don't lose it. I know it feels like, listen, mental health check. How many of you feel like you're losing it right now?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
If I could put both hands up right now, I would, but I might knock something out of place. I promise you right now, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Nothing is going as planned at all. I have had to adjust in ways that I never thought I would. I've done things that I said I would never do. The moral of the story is never say never. Understand that right now I'm showing up because I know that destiny still depends on it, regardless of how my plans are going. Understand this. Extraordinary journeys produce extraordinary outcomes. Yikes. So you'll have to forgive God if your journey just looks a little bit different than everyone else's. Because you got to go back and remember what you prayed for. You didn't pray for a normal outcome, sweetie. You didn't pray for a normal outcome, bro. You prayed for something extraordinary. You prayed for God to do more than you would ever ask or think. Okay, prayer. Okay, prayer warrior. Okay. Don't be mad now because he's doing exactly what it is that you asked him to do. And it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Listen, the last thing I'm going to say tonight is this because I'm tired. We got to go. We're giving. No, I'm just playing.
It's tight, but it's right.
Okay. It's tight, but
it's tight.
I know that's right. It's tight, but listen, guys. The last thing I'm going to say to you is this, and this is going to tell you why this series is going to be so important. And if I was all over the place tonight, you have to just, pray for me. And, we want you to log back on, but if you don't feel like this is going to be good for you, then, I understand. Praying your strength. Listen, the reason that it's so important to know how to manage your gift is this. Your gift can be weaponized. Your gift can be weaponized. Whether that be the gift of gab, okay. Whether that be the gift of whatever art you're a part of, whether that be the gift of your creativity, it can be weaponized. And the thing about weapons is this. If I have a weapon and no training to use it, it is powerful still, but I run the risk of hurting somebody else and possibly even myself. Because you understand, if I have a gun and I don't know how to use it and it's loaded, yes, it is loaded because why would you have a gun and it not? Anyway, you have a gun. It's loaded. The bullets are in it. It can be effective for what it's made for. But you understand, in your hands, if you have no training, you may kill someone else and yourself. That's it. Just know, whatever you have, whatever your gift is, whatever your talent is, whatever, it can be weaponized and it's dangerous if you don't know how to use it. Listen, we're going on a journey over the next couple of weeks. We're going to have some very interesting guests, far more interesting than myself. I want you guys, to always tune in, always follow all of our social media, the handles for which I don't have at this point in time. Judge somebody else. When we announce those, I want you all to follow us, like, share, subscribe, whatever it is that you do on whatever platform that you'll be viewing this on. Please do that. We need your help. This is going to be great. I'm excited. Could you tell I was nervous? Because I'm still nervous. But pray for me, okay? Well, only if you know how. But, yeah, sorry. No, but for real though. Because whoever been praying for me need to stop. You need whatever you've been praying. I'm not playing with you. Some of y'all been praying for God to teach me the lesson, and I want you to quit right now. I know. No. Whatever lesson you've been praying for him to teach me, quit it. And when I find you, it's going to be on and popping. Okay. Anyway, listen. Come back again, okay? Come visit with, no, this is not a church. I was going to say come visit with us. You don't have to forgive me. I'm a church boy. I'm a churchman. Okay, no, I don't even know what that means. Anyway, okay, listen, guys. Character Over Calling, Dangerously Gifted, series coming out this month. What month is it? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, March.
Which March? Okay, well, it ain't coming out this month. It's going to come out next month. Listen, let me tell y'all something before we get off of here. Whatever it is that you feel like you're supposed to be doing right now, don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to be dysfunctional without being disrespectful. Don't be afraid to be dysfunctional without being disrespectful, because dysfunction doesn't mean disrespect. I'll let you unpack that. We'll talk about that I was going to say next week. Listen, we're going to speak it next week. We're going to talk about it next week. Listen, y'all be blessed. Govern yourselves accordingly to all those announcements, whatever I said. And listen, I love y'all. Whatever you're going through, hold on. Don't quit. God's on your side. Whatever. Okay. No, not whatever. That's true. I got distracted. Okay. Listen, come back. See me again. I love you. Pray for me. I'm praying for you. This is going to be great. We're going on this journey together. And guess what? We're going to make it. Peace, y'all. I love you. What was that?